Welcome to UpLift Women's Wellness. I'm Bethany Bush, founder of Head to Toe Strength.
And I'm Auria Zahed, a licensed marriage and family therapist. We're here to empower and inspire women to thrive through holistic wellness.
Each week, we'll dive into topics like fitness, mental health, and personal growth.
And share real conversations and actionable insights to help you live your strongest, healthiest life.
Thanks for tuning in. Let's get started. So today, I'd like to talk about a motherless child who lost my mother very young as we come into the Mother's Day, all of the things that come with that I don't personally enjoy or want to partake in. And I'm not alone, as 27% of Americans are estranged from a family member. And in my own world, I have multiple friends and multiple clients who either have lost a mother or do not have a positive relationship with their mother. And I feel we like to have conversations that are unconventional and not fully acceptable in the realm of norm. I think we should talk it through because I'm sure you have clients and people too with either a parent who is dead or a parent who is a narcissist or abusive or whatever reason.
Right.
For 20-something years.
Yeah. Well, if you're comfortable, Bethany, I do think it's important to share your story because I feel like there's a lot of people who don't think that they can dive into that with the people around them and they just kind of shove those feelings down or pretend like they're doing fine when things like Mother's Day or Father's Day, it's actually really painful for them. So I think it would be helpful if you are open to sharing a little bit about the loss of your mom and then what comes up for you around Mother's Day because of that.
My story kind of starts at age 12 in Southern California. I was in 7th grade. One morning, my mom was in a ball on the bathroom floor puking. My dad had picked her up and was like, get in the car, we're going to the hospital. And so we did. And I was in 7th grade and I had a science test. So I wanted to get to school because I am that hyper overachieving child who was like, I've got a test. I can't miss it. I have a test. And so then I actually went to school, and to be honest, because of the level of trauma I experienced, I don't have clear memories. So I don't know what my other family members were doing. I don't even remember that day. I just remember that I said that I had a test and I had to go to school. I don't even remember how I got to school. And so I got dropped off by somebody. And I don't even think I went back to the hospital after school because I remember being at my parents' friend's house. And the timeline's going to be really all over the place because I was a child.
Yeah, that's okay.
And so she had a tumor the size of a softball strangling her colon.
Oh my goodness.
So that's why she was vomiting, which means for grown-up adult Bethany, who's now studied science and all these things, she'd been symptomatic at least years. She was 45 or 6.
Okay, yeah.
And so like she was too young to have, quote unquote, have colon cancer.
Wow.
And because when they went in, it was her whole colon, 6 inches of her colon. They took out 6 inches of her colon. I can't remember if it was ascending and descending because like some of a lot of the details are fuzzy. And it was stage 4. because it had spread. And in order to be stage 4, it has to have spread and metastasized. So I don't know what part of her it metastasized to.
Okay, yeah.
Because, and you're getting a little bit of Bethany, the scientist, who's an adult, who's spent basically my whole adult life studying this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the child who got the edited version of what was going on.
Yes, makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Because I have tried to find her medical records. And I have tried, but it's so old and they're destroyed.
Oh,
and so like I can't even find mine past the early 2000s. And because I wanted to read her medical records. I wanted to sit and read them because I wanted to know the real truth. Because I don't have the real truth.
No.
Or anything that's remotely close to what the potential truth could be.
Right.
So I was told possibly 6 months to live. From then on out, like it was hospital. Like I don't even remember how long she was in the hospital. She had a zipper scar from the base of her sternum to her pubic bone. And then she had an ostomy bag. And she came home with all her staples and all of that. Obviously started chemo sometime.
Right.
And thankfully, because we were in Southern California, she was going to City of Hope for care. So I have a really special place in my heart for their cancer research program and their cancer, everything that they do with cancer, because in the mid-90s, that really wasn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of did that journey. And then she herniated because she's like me or I'm like her. Her whole incision herniated and then her ostomy incision herniated.
What?
Yeah. So she had like 13 or 15 hernias up her incision because she wouldn't chill the fuck out. And so she had to go back in, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to like cut all of those out or something.
Wow.
And then sew her back up again. And then the healing process and kind of life goes on, quote unquote.
Okay.
You know, you get the meal trains and the church does the thing and you get the whole like cancer crap that comes with that. But like now that impending mom's dying is now reality.
Yep.
As a 7th grader.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of like, I don't really remember. Like maybe I'm sure there are people who have this experience who can remember. I can't. There are massive chunks of time missing.
Yeah.
And so we kind of did that. And then something that made sense to no one, we moved cross country. So she survived for a short amount of time. So we were told to 6 months. And that woman's like, fuck you, no. So she's going through all the treatment or the chemo and the radiation and all the whatever the treatments were. And she didn't die. So then my family decides to then move across the country.
And leave the City of Hope professionals?
Well, all of her oncology care team.
Oh my gosh.
Everything here.
Oh.
And I have no idea in the timeline from surgery, diagnosis, chemo, radiation, because then after that you get colonoscopies and CAT scans and MRIs on a regular like 3 or 6 months cycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what happened in that time frame. They apparently felt okay with moving across the country. Yeah, so we move, and then her whole team, we leave her, and then she has like relapse symptoms. And so they go back in after she's having CAT scans and she's having blood drawn. And I don't know if PET scans existed back then or not. I don't know. And so I don't know the extent of her treatment, but they had to go in and open her up again. And it was not long after we got there, because it was softball season, which is, I don't know, March, because we moved in the early part of the year in Q1. And then they had to go in and put like mesh netting, because she's already lost 6 inches of her colon. And I don't remember if it was ascending and descending or what. So I don't know how she was like stitched together.
Oh, okay.
Like how they rearranged her colon.
Right.
After that. And like the walls and everything. And so that was in like the last half of my freshman year, because that's when we moved abruptly. And then, so diagnosis in winter of 97, she was then dead by November of 2001. And then in summer, this woman, and if anybody who is my friend or listening wonders where the stubbornness comes from and the pig-headed, bull-headed, stand my groundness, this woman flat out said, fuck you to death. Because the summer of 2001, they went in because she was supposed to like finish her hysterectomy, because she only had one ovary and one fallopian tube. Okay. And so they were supposed to, because she was anemic. She was bleeding so much that she would just sit there and bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed. So they were going to go in, and they opened her up. Her whole stomach, her whole like organ, like a gastrointestinal tract cancer is literally everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
So they took an ovary out and stitched it back up. So it was like a half-hour surgery, because they're like, she's lucky if she makes it 2 weeks. So she goes home on hospice, came home, and then she didn't end up dying until that November. So she was on hospice way longer than anybody typically lives on hospice.
Oh my God. How long? What?
So what is that? June to November, June, July, August, September, October, 5 months on hospice care. I think she was going to U of M every day, every other day. I don't remember.
Wow.
But like my senior homecoming is the last picture I have with her of her.
Oh.
But she did write cards out. So she wrote birthday card, Christmas card, graduation card, prom card, I think. So the tattoo on my forearm is the blue star of hope for colon cancer, and then her actual signature from one of those cards, and then the day that she died.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that that's where it was from. I love that, Bethany.
Yeah, so it's actually her telling me, like, I love you, mommy.
Oh my gosh.
And then because colon cancer isn't just a ribbon, it's a ribbon and a star.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think March or April is colorectal cancer awareness month. So yeah, that was, 20, this year will be 24 years.
So she wrote these cards, passed away, but then you were still being given the cards, but written by your mom. Wow.
So she was writing cards, planning to not be at any of this.
Oh.
And not live for any of this.
That is so sad, but also that's the sweetest gesture to think of you in those very big moments and leave a message for you.
And then that last year was awful. 2 days before she died, I started self-harming. I think the night before, she got out of bed and made sure to come say goodnight to each of us. And then that morning we had a fog delay. And so I don't know exactly when she died, but like I got an extra few hours. But the number one piece of guilt that I hold on to every day is I didn't go in and say goodbye to her that morning before I left for school.
Oh.
I just kind of like peeked in the room.
Okay, yeah.
And then went to school. And I think at that point, because of the fog delay, I was in second or third period. Vice principal came and grabbed me out of class, and I knew. My whole class knew.
Oh my gosh.
And we got to the house, and the paramedics and the fire engine and the cops, and they're all in the driveway.
Oh.
And all I did was walk in the house and go, she's gone. And dropped my backpack and went and saw her.
Saw her where?
Her body in her room.
Oh, in the room.
They hadn't taken her out yet.
Oh, okay.
From my memory.
Okay. Yeah.
Like she was still there, lying where paramedics had worked on her.
Oh, they worked on her. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I don't know what her death plan was. I don't know what was in her will. I don't know what her wishes. I have no idea. I don't know what extenuating circumstances or like what she wanted done to keep her alive. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm just picturing like little Bethany.
I had just turned 17.
Oh my gosh.
Like 5 weeks prior? And she had just turned 51.
Yeah, that's young. She was young. You were young. Yeah.
And then I finished up my senior year and I haven't been back since. So I have been on my own trying to figure out life since I was 17.
Oh my goodness. You were so little.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, it's so crazy to think about now.
Mm-hmm. I'm shocked that I did it.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It doesn't feel like reality.
What part? What do you mean?
Like it does, but also it doesn't. It feels like it happened to someone else.
Oh, okay. Like almost like third person.
Like you watch it happen.
Yeah. Like you see it like a movie. Yeah. I feel like I knew the story, but I didn't really know the story. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so much worse knowing all of that. Because I think people, when anyone they love is going through a cancer diagnosis and going through treatment, all of it is scary. The entire portion is scary and uncomfortable, and there's anxiety. And then in this case, she died. And so then there's all that stuff, all that pain, all that emotion, and you still have to figure out school and go about your day to day while working on that and being so little. That's a lot. That's a lot for a teenager. Well, for anyone, honestly, but. And then you felt like you had to navigate it by yourself after that, huh?
Yeah, I basically stopped being a child at 12. Because after that, because she also was like, if I'm alive for that, if I make it for that, like then it kind of like, if I live that long or, there's constantly that it's just literally I have a shotgun loaded and it just hasn't gone off yet.
Right. Yeah, and it makes you accidentally prep to be parentless, which I guess isn't a bad thing because it is still prep, but it's also like that is incredibly traumatic to hear a parent say that, especially when you were so little and you love them so much. Oh my goodness.
So I have mixed naturally.
Mm-hmm.
From September to December, I hate. And I say fucked up shit when people say things to me. And because to me at this point, I'm very matter of fact.
Yeah.
it happened. It is what it is. Can't change it. It's who I am. It's why I am the way I am today. You tell people that, and it's just, for me, it's entertaining because you get the jaw drop.
So, like, give an example, like what they're saying to you and then what you say to them. Like, general example.
Like, oh, I just whatever with your mama. Like, oh, are you a necrophiliac? But
yeah,
this sense of humor is who I am.
This is not surprising. Yeah.
And so I hid this.
Yeah.
Until I was out, because where I was, there are just things you don't say or do because they're taboo, and you don't talk of them, and you don't bring light on them, and you don't focus on them, and you shove them under the rug and act like they don't exist or happen. But I feel like I've lived like 4 different lives, and I don't remember all of them. It's like being blacked out for massive chunks of time.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is what I would assume a blackout would feel like.
I mean, obviously, like, you know, there's something with like the loss of memory that is probably very specific to safety. And maybe you've been trying to not remember for a reason. I don't know. But I do feel like you being out on your own starting at 17, which is so teeny tiny, and then losing your mom, of course, Mother's Day is going to bring up all of this.
Because it's assumed, right? You go to the grocery store. I don't know, you buy flowers. Oh, are you going to be bringing them to your mom? So then I'd be like, yeah, her gravestone.
Right.
And then they go,
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. Because part of me feels, I don't know, it feels like telling Merry Christmas to a Jew to me.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just assume that, especially since 27% of the population is estranged.
Yeah, and if you're estranged from your mom and someone says, oh, are you buying that from your mom? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's going to bring up a lot of stuff. Yeah, similar to if you've lost your mom. I think it's probably confusing in your case, Bethany, because you were so young. So I think the assumption is that your mom is still around versus if you were maybe in your 70s, people would not be like, oh, happy Mother's Day to your mom. So it is, for you, it was just extra poor timing. You were a child. And then people also assuming when they shouldn't be. I think Mother's Day is a very complicated day because it's saying, and Father's Day, I'm just going to lump them together, Mother's Day and Father's Day, because it's saying like, let's celebrate these wonderful people in your life. Were they wonderful? Are they wonderful? Are they even around? Are they deceased? It's really, I don't know, like it is very presumptuous. And it is a strange celebration. Because if you do have good parents, shouldn't you be celebrating them often? And saying thank you for your parenting skills or something often? Right? So it's just, maybe we should look into where they came from, who decided to have these days. But there is a significant amount of people that cannot celebrate those things. And it's triggering.
Yeah, I don't have anything nice to say or anything about either of those days. And it's like, there's so many other things you can say to someone, especially if a woman is buying flowers. Doesn't matter what day it is. You could be like, oh, what a beautiful bouquet for you.
Yeah.
Or him or whoever. Like,
yeah. Yeah, or beautiful bouquet.
Yeah, what a beautiful bouquet. Like, It doesn't have to come with
assumptions.
Oh, are you on your way to your brunch for Mother's Day? And it's hard for me to not for me to be compassionate because, and this could be incredibly wrong of me to say, it's assuming that you have that privilege.
Yeah.
Assuming that I had that privilege.
Yes. Yes. And that's true. And I actually, based on that, I would say that people who don't have relationships with their parents and people who have lost their parents do not go around saying Happy Mother's Day to strangers.
I don't randomly say it to anybody unless it comes up in conversation. I mean, now with clientele and whatever, but like back in working retail, unless someone brought it up, I never did.
Yeah. When you're working, you can't really go into personal things. Sometimes you can't even go into things that are sad at all. That is rough. It's tough because, like, again, in our age bracket, probably a majority of people have at least one parent, you know, but it's still like, let's not assume. And then, I mean, I don't know how to stop someone, like, if they forget it's Mother's Day and they're like, Bethany, what's wrong? That's a tricky one.
Yeah, but that's different because
That is different.
It wouldn't come up. It's not someone saying like, because then it's just like a normal day.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I never know what it's going to be like emotionally.
Okay. Yeah.
Mother's Day, her birthday, the anniversary of her death, Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to be like. But the worst thing anybody has ever done to me is told me what I have to do.
What? They were trying to give you advice?
You can't be alone.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, why can't I spend the holiday the way that I want to?
Right.
Or do I have to celebrate this holiday? Now, granted, if I lived where she was buried, I'd go visit her and I'd go talk to her and stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't live where she's buried anymore.
Yeah.
But it's just a day.
Yeah.
To me, it's just like Valentine's Day when you're single, St. Patrick's Day. It's just another day. And
yeah, I mean, I definitely can see that. I can also see, because you're just going about your regular day to day. It's just a day. But I can also see you being, triggered if someone's like, Happy Mother's Day, right in your face. Or assuming you're going to go do something for Mother's Day. That's probably more awkward if someone's like, oh, Bethany, what are you doing with your mom tomorrow? Yeah.
I try and shut that shit down fast. I also, I have amazing friends, but no part of come over and hang out with us on whatever doesn't feel like a pity invite.
Oh.
And that could be just my jaded way of looking things and my mindset, because I have had the pity invite, obviously. And it's like, I don't want to go to your borrowed holiday.
Right.
I want to go do something that's going to make me happy.
Yes.
If I choose to even acknowledge that it exists, it's assuming everyone celebrates Christmas. That's the only way I can equate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yes. And we have learned, over the years, do not assume everyone celebrates Christmas. And don't go around saying Merry Christmas because you don't know who actually celebrates. Say Happy Holidays or don't say anything at all. Yeah. It's the same.
People can roll their eyes at me and saying I'm too touchy-feely, but I will ask my clients, would you like me to do, would you like to talk about this? Would you like me to acknowledge this? How would you like me to show up for you?
Yep.
For this? Because I have clients who do not have good relationships with their mothers. And I know that. And so if they start talking about this, that, these, or those, I'm like, I don't assume. I just flat out go, what would you like? What do you want from me? Because like we have said multiple times now, and this is kind of like the point we're beating to death, I'm going to be whatever you need me to be. So that you can fully show up in that space. Because that time frame is about you. And I'm basically, like we were talking about in the fact that we're both childless women and we kind of like mother the world. I've taken the hurt, the pain, the trauma, and put that into never having anybody feel how I've felt.
Mm-hmm.
Invalidated, diminished, manipulated, whatever, pick something. Because then when your love map is that distorted,
Mm-hmm.
you don't necessarily choose great people.
Right.
I could sound like a whiny little baby right now to some people, and that's fine. Go ahead and turn me off. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that there are plenty of people who can at least see themselves in my story.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And there's nothing I haven't done to myself that isn't self-harmful.
Mm-hmm.
For the past 24 years.
Yeah.
Because anorexia is self-harm, over-exercising is self-harm. Like,
yes,
everything is self-harm.
Yes.
And I've never been good enough.
Well, you never felt you were good enough.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've lost everything.
You did.
So no one stays.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
It's also kind of cool for me to like, no, I've never done drugs. I'm not an alcoholic. I have a bachelor's, a master's, bajillion. I have 27 something letters after my name now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I did that.
Yeah, you did.
And I moved back across the country.
By yourself.
By myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
With help.
Right.
I've had support.
Yes. But it wasn't familial support.
No.
It was friends. Right?
Yeah.
Friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Because blood is thicker than water. Yeah, fuck you. And then people then like trace their like lineage. I don't even know who my great grandparents are. Like,
yeah.
People like, oh, my great cousin on that. I'm like, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like I agree that this is going to be very helpful for people. I think a lot of people hide this part of themselves. Because like we've said, like it's not just like the death of a parent, which is extremely traumatic, probably when Mother's Day and Father's Day comes up and birthdays and death anniversaries, but just like people who were kicked out of their homes, people who like, I guess, grew up with a parent and then their parent, I don't know, moved across the country or they moved across the country and then like lost touch. Like there's many ways to be estranged from a parent. And then people who decided to go no contact with their parents, incredibly common.
And then the judgment and the ridicule and everything that comes with that.
Yes, there's a lot of judgment and ridicule.
How disrespectful of you, how disrespectful you do that to your family.
Mm-hmm. Yep. A lot of the word ungrateful. Ungrateful. Yes. I think my clients, I don't think that there's too many parent deaths that I can think of right now. But a lot of my clients have chosen to separate from their families.
Would you mind speaking to how healthy that choice is when you have a toxic, abusive, manipulative family member? There's nothing wrong with cutting them off.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually had conversations with clients about either cutting their parent off once I heard their side of the story, like once I was hearing what their parents were doing to them, and they would come to me with anxiety or depression, and it's like, it's your parents. Like, I've had this conversation on top of just having clients come to me working on present issues, and they had to leave a parent and they kind of know that their issues are because of the parent that they left. So if you know that there's toxicity in your family and you know you are being emotionally distressed, emotionally disturbed, you're having things like anxiety, depression, PTSD, there is no reason to stick around. You are allowed to take care of you. And I've even talked to some people where they're like, I really can't leave my family. There's still love there. And then we talk about boundaries. We talk about timelines. It's like, okay, you can only be with them for like 1 hour at a time and things like that. And it is, okay, so like parents are people. Would you want to be around people who are toxic and cruel, physically abusive, verbally abusive, mentally abusive? No. But just because they are your blood, that doesn't mean you need to stay out of like gratitude or respect or whatever you're being called out for. It is about your mental health. And sometimes you need to cut those family members off or reserve space for them in small doses. And nothing wrong with that.
And they are people. Do you say that maybe there's a belief that children like that still like honor thy father, honor thy mother, like servitude, dutifulness is still very much alive?
I don't think internally, but I do think people who hear stories of like, oh, I left my family, they will do what you were saying of like, oh, you're so ungrateful. How could you do that to your own parents? That's so, but, and then I think that affects the person because now you invalidated them. You have no idea what they went through to leave. You have no idea what they went through when they were there. And I think that there's a lot of that. I think internally, society is like moving forward a little bit of like knowing parents are people and being able to see parents, at least in a grown-up perspective, as a peer and being able to look at them as an equal and make judgments. Did that answer your question, Bethany?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Like my therapist, obviously, we've worked through a lot of that. But I think it'll be helpful to hear it if these people aren't seeking mental health services, to hear it from someone licensed, practicing, like,
yeah,
almost like if you needed permission, and if you're kind of sitting in that moment of, well, you're getting judgment from friends or other family members or whatever, but you're like, it's mentally exhausting.
Yes.
Or it's emotionally exhausting, or it's physically abusive, or mentally abusive, or emotionally abusive, whatever kind of abusive it is, right. Financially.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. And the thing is like no one wants to leave their family. No one wants an unhealthy, toxic family. If someone is stepping away, you need to just trust that they've made that decision logically and over a very long time and after a lot of evidence. And hopefully there was some communication of trying to make it better and trying to patch the relationship. But you have to just trust that they did everything they could as someone who wanted a blood relationship to work.
And I feel like it goes along the lines of not honoring someone's intuition and self-awareness, like we talked about with childless women.
Exactly. Yeah.
It just kind of feels like it's another one of those overarching judgment.
Like a snap judgment. Yeah.
And assumptions. And then like on top of, which is apparently chronic PTSD is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I didn't know. And I'm like, well, cool. That doesn't go away.
And no one should be doing snap judgments anyway, but especially not strangers.
Where does that come from?
I mean, it's just societal norms, like the blood is thicker than water phrase, right? I mean, I don't know. I really don't know, but there's just like a general family unit perspective that we just naturally have, I think probably as humans. But if you really look at the numbers, like what did we find out? 18 million homes didn't have fathers in the United States. Like the family unit isn't real anymore. It's just a construct. Every family is incredibly different. And I think as you notice, like when I talk and I say parents or caregivers, because some homes don't even have parents. Some children are raised by aunts, uncles, grandparents, foster parents.
Or as like I'll say, or foster care.
Yeah. Or yes, or in, yeah, foster care, or they have adopted parents. So I don't like the judgment of what quote unquote should be. We've broken that years ago. There's no such thing as the perfect family.
Oh God, no.
Mm-mm.
And if that does exist, you're faking it.
Yeah.
Because humans have shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And whether you put it on the front porch or not, all that you're doing is harboring more feelings and harboring more hatred and animosity, and also emotionlessness and not holding space and having people have their own opinions and thoughts and form their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on top of the 18 million, you also found data that said in the US, about 30.8% of the population has lost their biological mother, which means that approximately 30.8% of Americans no longer have a biological mother. And in 2021, this translated to 26.4% of the United States population having lost both parents. And then additionally, 44.2% of the population had lost at least one parent, with 39.8% having lost their biological father. So in reality,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we've got 44% of a listener base that will identify with this conversation in one way or another.
Yes, and that was deaths. The loss was deaths. And then earlier we brought up, was it estrangement? What was the percentage?
Estrangement.
What was the percentage of estrangement? 27%?
Yeah, 27%.
Yeah. Yeah. So 44% and 27%. Like that's a lot of people who were not celebrating Mother's Day, celebrating Father's Day. It's a lot of people potentially where those days might bring up some bad, sad, negative memories.
Be kind to your friends and be kind to your significant others or your spouses, because even if you have had children, you still may not want to do it. And also why Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard are very open about this. Why is Mother's Day, mom gets to then spend all day with her kids? And dad and Father's Day is he gets to go off and golf.
Interesting. Yeah. Huh.
Why does she then basically get a normal day? With maybe breakfast in bed.
Right.
And he essentially gets a normal day and gets to go do one of his fun hobbies. And I know Kristen Bell and Dax, Kristen gets to go do what she wants.
Yeah.
You know, like it, and they celebrate it the same.
Yes. I love that. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
why is Mother's Day, like, she's going to be drowning and dripping with kids,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets to go play golf? Like, what?
Yeah, I know. I know, Bethany. Yeah.
But again, like, why are we always getting the butt of the stick?
Oh my gosh, so funny. I don't know.
Like, it's kind of like we sit down and we talk about having conversations that no one wants to talk about. No wonder no one wants to talk about it.
Oh my gosh, so funny. Yes. Okay, so if you are a mom or a dad, you need to celebrate this holiday in the ways that bring you joy, whatever that looks like for you.
And I love the social media memes now that is like Mother's Day for those who don't have mothers, Mother's Day who are trying to be mothers and can't be mothers, those who don't have mothers, those mothers who have died. Like, I love really posting a lot of those. I don't actually think I don't think I actually post on our head to toe strength social media anything that says Happy Mother's Day.
Right.
Because I post the opposite. I always try and find, and like right now May apparently is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm following something else that also keeps popping up with that.
Oh, yeah.
So now I've got both that, like, I just feel like it's inclusivity.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Like, if you're going to go to brunch on Sunday, that's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
But be mindful that if it's a holiday or something like me that makes you uncomfortable, or you say fucked up shit to perfect strangers because it's fun to make them look uncomfortable, maybe know where you're going.
Yeah.
Because, like, for me, my haven is the beach.
Yes.
Happiness and joy looks like whatever it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like we need to hold more of a candle and a spotlight to that.
Yeah. I mean, that makes me think of, like, you know, the joy and the celebration part of holidays. You can celebrate however you want. Right?
And yeah, like,
yeah. Like, why do we always think of brunch when we think of Mother's Day? Is it because so many places like host Mother's Day brunch and, like, right?
Like, is it media? Is it marketing?
Yeah.
Where did this come from?
Yeah. We have such, like, big societal norms that I feel like I don't even really think about most of the time. But even when we were like, where did Mother's Day or Father's Day even come from? It's just so normal. And like, again, if you have great parents, like, you should be ideally talking to them for more than just one day a year. Right? So
like, if you have great familial parental relationships and they did an amazing job, you should be showing them gratitude on the regular. Why is it a day?
Yeah. So interesting. I am actually really going to look up where those days came from.
And we'll post it on social media.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, if you go looking for it, I'll create a post for it, and we'll just design a post and put it on social media as to, like, where the hell did this shit come from?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's also taboo because a lot of people, to me, are privileged. In the age of the United States, I'm looked at and assumed I'm privileged.
Yes. Totally.
Where it's like,
Totally. Yeah. But that's why it is so important to not do any snap judgments. Do not judge people by what they look like. do not judge people by like a millisecond interaction, you know, like a hello or something. That's not enough information to know someone's life to judge them. It's really strange.
Well, and even Brene Brown, my obsession,
Yes.
has a great story where she went through a drive-through.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she got a soda or something. I don't remember.
Okay.
And she was on the phone and she's like, hold on 1 second. Like, I apologize. And she like hung it up or something and looked at the cashier giving her her drink and taking the money. She's like, I'm so sorry. I apologize for that. And I think the cashier, the attendant, started crying because of that level of gratitude and kindness shown.
Oh.
Because, you know, people go through drive-thru and they shove their money at people and they take their food and they drive away.
Right.
And I love that Brene, I can't remember which book it's in because every book that she writes stories. That's why I like reading all her books.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
On top of all of her science and data and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like all she did was look at someone, apologize, and treat them like a human.
Wow. Yeah.
And I personally try to do that on the regular basis, even though I don't work in retail and I don't have to face-to-face interactions anymore like that, really.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to Starbucks or if I go get food or if I go to the grocery store or the people doing the lawn outside, I try to make contact and at least smile or nod or like hi, because with it being Mental Health Awareness Month, maybe that's going to stop someone from killing themselves too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As a person who has also been on that deep, dark road.
Yeah. Maybe we should use these like Mother's Day, Father's Day, even Valentine's Day celebrations to just be kind to everyone.
Like random act of kindness days.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Like, you know, when, I don't know if you've ever been a part of this, when you pulled up through a drive-through and the cashier goes, oh, yours was already taken care of by the car in front of you. Would you like to pay for the person behind you and keep this train going? Like we've got 15 cars or people or whatever.
Yes, I have been in that and it felt wonderful. And it absolutely like brightened the rest of the day because it happened to me in a Starbucks drive-through. So it was coffee. It was free coffee.
Which only happens on your birthday.
It was, yes, exactly. It was just a random Sunday. And then, yes, we paid for the people behind us, but it still felt really, really good. And that is like, I don't know why we felt so special in that moment, but like, that makes me feel like life is so hard that free coffee paid for by the strangers in front feels so fucking good. That is wild to me. But that's also like why it's so important to just live every day like that and be that, not like necessarily like financially giving, but be that warm, be that kind, be that generous with a stranger, like generosity of like heart. Right?
No, I agree. And I didn't used to be that way. I was an asshole. Because I'm highly introverted, even though no one's going to believe me when I say that. And still no one believes me when I say that. No listener who knows me is going to believe that because they watch me perform. But I am now at the point in my life where I don't care what you say to me. I don't want to be, because we remember the negative, right?
Always.
Who remembers the positive days? Nobody. So I do not want to be the reason someone who's worked there all day goes home, throws their shit on the floor and goes, oh my gosh, this fucking customer today.
Oh my goodness, I know.
Because I've done that. You've done that probably.
Oh my gosh, yes. When I was working phone lines, oh my gosh. And I remember all the calls that were bad. The hundreds and hundreds of calls I've taken, I remember the handful that were bad because it hurt that much.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, if you are calling a customer service line, that is maybe your one phone call of the day. But that person has spoken to hundreds of people. So please be kind. Please be kind to them.
Yeah, both of us have done the customer service phone call side of things.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for calling, blah, 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 blah. This is Bethany. How can I help you?
Yes, seriously. Oh my God. And if they, want to keep their job, they're going to do what you need them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no need to be mean.
Mm-mm.
They want to help you. I always really wanted to help people.
And one of my psychology classes, I think it was my sports psychology class, because I've taken so many different types of psychology, because I also wanted to double major in that. I just love too many things, and I'm too interested in theologies. Actually said that the people who live the longest and have the best life are those that are in positions of like where you're helping others.
Yeah. Yeah.
We both have chosen these professions. It's not by accident.
No. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine someone just falls into these pathways and goes through the rigorous program that was a master's degree?
Oh, God.
It's like, yeah, I'm here on accident,
You mean the nervous breakdowns every day isn't what everybody's college experience is like? Oh, you're calling everybody going, what the fuck did I just do?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I just made the biggest mistake. I'm a fucking idiot. What the hell am I doing here?
So funny. Yeah.
I'm a failure. I'm so stupid. What am I doing?
Yeah, no. We did this very much on purpose. Really wanted to help people, like genuinely wanted to help people. Before I even knew that stat about how helping people will make me live longer, I wanted to help people. Always. Either, if not people, I wanted to help animals, but I always wanted to help. That was very natural for me. Yeah. But I think point being is, if we are going to have these holidays that don't fit for everyone, no matter what position you were in on those days, if you have a mom, if you have a dad, if you don't, I think in general, everyone can be kind and everyone can be warm and everyone can be thoughtful and not be judgmental.
Maybe we just have the golden rule more on that day.
Yes.
Plain and simple.
Treat others how you want to be treated. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe we just all be a little kinder to one another. And that's kind of like the takeaway. I mean, granted, that's kind of our takeaway every week, but...
Yeah. Be kind. But also, like, with you starting this podcast with your story about your mom, when we say be kind, we're not saying, like, have manners.
No.
We're saying people have stories. People have gone through hell and back. Treat them with kindness, because you don't know where they've been.
I manage our social media.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to head over to Head to Toe Strength and send me a DM or anything, or YouTube or any other place, and you want to share your story with me, I'll keep it confidential. I'll keep it private if it's a conversation you want to have. Or if you just want to drop a thank you for feeling seen, that would be incredible, because you're not alone. No matter how many days and dark nights you may feel it, you're not.
Thank you for joining us on UpLift Women's Wellness.
We're so grateful to have you as part of our community. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs it.
Follow us on social media for updates and extra inspiration between episodes.
And remember, you're stronger, braver, and more capable than you know. Until next time,
Stay strong, stay empowered, and keep uplifting each other.